Welcome back to Stock Talk, everyone. Today, we're jumping right in, doing a deep dive on Baidu's Q1 2025 financials.
That's right. Lots to unpack here.
Definitely. And hey, if you want more analysis like this to sharpen your market insights, make sure you subscribe to Stock Talk.
Good idea.
And if you know anyone else who tracks these kinds of market moves, please feel free to share this with them. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah, spread the word.
We always want to hear what you think, too, so hit like, drop a comment, questions, reactions, anything.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Baidu's Q1 25. We've got the numbers, the reports, a whole stack, really.
Yeah.
Our mission today, let's figure out what actually matters in all this data. What's it telling us about Baidu now and, where this whole AI first thing is really heading?
Okay, so first glance, the Q1 figures look pretty solid, actually. Total revenue, RMB 32.5 billion. That's about, what, 4.47 billion US dollars?
Right. And that's up 3% year over year. So modest growth overall.
Modest overall, yeah. But, the devil's in the details, right? The underlying stuff is where it gets interesting.
Exactly. Because Baidu Core, that's the main engine that was up 7% compared to last year.
Yeah, RMB 25.5 billion, or $3.51 billion US, a much healthier jump there.
And within that core segment, there's one area that's just, boom.
You're talking about AI cloud.
Yeah.
Absolutely explosive growth. 42% year-on-year increase in revenue from AI cloud. That's pretty significant.
42%. Okay, so that really highlights how central AI is becoming to their actual revenue, not just strategy talk.
Exactly. It suggests that big bet on AI, that pivot, it's really starting to show up in the financials in a big way.
And it's not just the top line, the revenue. That looked good. Profitability seems way up too.
Right. Net income attributable to Baidu, that surged 42% year over year.
42 again. Interesting.
Yeah. RMB 7.7 billion, which is about $1.06 billion US. That's a substantial leap in profit.
So what's driving that profit jump? Is it just the AI cloud being higher margin or something else?
Well, that's likely part of it. Higher margin business growing fast helps. But you'd also suspect maybe some, better operational efficiencies playing a role too.
Makes sense.
And you see it flow through to the bottom line for shareholders. Diluted EPS, earnings per share, climbed 45% year over year.
45%. Wow.
Reaching RMB 21.59 or $2.98 US. So, yeah, strong headline numbers. But let's maybe break down the segments a bit more, see where the strengths and maybe weaknesses are.
Good idea. Let's dive into Baidu Core first. We know it grew overall, but you mentioned a split performance inside it. Online marketing didn't do so well.
That's right. The online marketing part, the traditional ad business, basically, actually decreased by 6% year on year.
Down 6%.
Okay, came in at RMB 16.0 billion, or $2.21 billion US. Now, Baidu says this is due to a mobile ecosystem transformation.
Transformation. What exactly does that mean, though? Are people clicking less? Are advertisers going elsewhere? Is Baidu changing things up?
That's the key question, isn't it? It raises flags about, the long-term health of that core advertising model. We need to understand that transformation better.
Definitely something to watch. But on the flip side, the non-online marketing revenue within Baidu Core, that really took off.
Oh, absolutely. That segment showed remarkable growth, up 40% year on year.
40%.
Yeah, hitting RMB 9.4 billion or 1.3 billion dollars US. And the report explicitly links this surge to AI cloud success and their intelligent driving stuff.
So it looks like the diversification away from just ads is actually working, at least in offsetting that dip.
It certainly seems that way. And AI cloud is clearly the star performer here. That 42% growth, it backs up their claim about having this distinctive strength in providing full stack AI products and solutions.
Full stack. So not just the AI model itself, but everything around it.
Exactly. Tools, platforms, the whole package. They mentioned their upgraded Moss platform, Keen Fan.
Yeah.
Think of it like an AI workshop for developers. They've expanded the library of models available there, added support for fancier types like multimodal understanding images and text and reasoning models, and they stressed a highly competitive price-performance advantage.
So making it easier and cheaper for businesses to actually build AI applications using Baidu's tech, that sounds like a smart way to build an ecosystem.
Precisely, lowering the barrier to entry. Now, back to that mobile ecosystem transformation for a sec. Any more clues on what that involves?
Well, they did give a couple of data points. First, Baidu App's monthly active users, the MAUs, they're still growing, up 7% year on year.
Okay, so user engagement is still strong. 724 million users in March. That's huge.
Huge. And second, they mentioned managed page. Apparently, that now accounts for 47% of Baidu Core's online marketing revenue.
Right, managed page. That's basically letting businesses build their own little storefront or presence right inside the Baidu app ecosystem.
So maybe a shift from traditional banner ads to something more integrated, potentially more effective.
Could be. It suggests they're definitely evolving how businesses connect with that massive user base. A different kind of advertising, perhaps.
Interesting. Okay, let's shift gears then. Let's talk Apollo Go, the intelligent driving part. This always felt like a long game, but it seems like we're seeing real steps now.
Absolutely seeing steps. Big ones, actually. International expansion just happened in Q1. They launched services in Dubai and Abu Dhabi back in March.
Wow, Middle East expansion already.
Yeah. And they didn't stop there. Just this month, May, they started open road validation testing in Dubai. That shows serious intent.
That is a big move. And what about usage? Are people actually riding in these things?
The numbers are impressive. Over 1.4 million rides provided by Apollo Go just in Q1.
1.4 million.
And that's a 75% jump compared to Q1 last year. Massive growth.
75%. Okay, that's accelerating quickly.
It is. And they hit a milestone, too.
Wow.
As of May, they've surpassed 11 million cumulative rides total.
11 million. So yeah, it's scaling up. Suggests people are getting more comfortable with the idea?
Seems like it. Strong upward trend for Apollo Go, definitely. Now, shall we touch on IQII, Baidu's streaming service?
All right, IQII. The story there is a bit different, isn't it? Not quite the same explosive growth.
No, revenue actually decreased for IQII, down 9% year-on-year.
Down 9%.
Came in at RMB 7.2 billion, roughly $990 million US. So a noticeable contraction there.
Any reason given? Competition? Content changes?
They didn't specify the exact reason in this highlight, but it's a tough market, streaming. What's interesting, though, is the profitability.
Ooh.
Even though revenue dipped, IQII's operating income was actually positive. RMB 342 million, or $47 million US, and that was up 20% from the previous quarter.
Up quarter over quarter on income, despite lower revenue year over year. So managing costs better,
Right.
focusing on profit over just growth.
Looks like it. Improving efficiency, maybe being more selective on content spend. So yeah, bit of a mixed picture across the different Baidu segments. Yeah.
Definitely mixed bag. Okay, let's zoom back in on the core strategy, AI innovation. This is what underpins the AI cloud growth and Apollo Go.
Right, absolutely. And they're moving fast here. In March, they released Ernie 4.5. That's their first big multimodal model, handles text, images, etc.
Multimodal, right?
And alongside it, Ernie X1, their first model built specifically for like complex reasoning, think problem-solving AI.
Okay, so pushing the boundaries of what the AI can actually do.
Big steps forward. And they didn't wait long. Just a month later, in April, they rolled out turbo versions. Ernie 4.5 Turbo and X1 Turbo.
Turbo, meaning faster, cheaper?
Both, apparently. Enhanced performance, lower prices. That's a classic tech move, right? Make it better and more accessible to drive adoption.
Makes sense. Get into more hands, more applications.
Exactly. And don't forget the platforms we mentioned. KeonFan, the AI development hub, keeps getting upgrades. And Paddle, their underlying deep learning framework, kind of the engine for the AI hit version 3.0 in April.
So constant improvement across the whole AI stack. Foundational models, development tools, underlying framework.
That's the picture they're painting. Continuous innovation driving competitiveness.
And applying that tech. We talked Apollo Go expansion. What about that partnership with Kaiyar Inc., the rental company?
Right, that was in May, partnering with a major Chinese car rental service to offer fully autonomous vehicle rentals.
Renting a driverless car. Wow. That feels like a glimpse of the future.
It really does. Could be a huge step for mainstream adoption, beyond just hailing a ride. A different business model, too.
And they got some recognition for Apollo Go, too, right? An award.
Yeah, they picked up the Gold Edison Award, specifically in the driverless vehicles category. Nice validation from the industry.
Good to see. And Baidu also made a point about their patent portfolio.
They did. Claimed China's largest AI patent portfolio as of the end of last year. Speaks to their R&D investment over time.
And Fast Company ranked them pretty high, too.
Second, in Asia-Pacific, on the 2025 Most Innovative Companies list, specifically calling out the autonomous driving work. So the innovation story is getting noticed.
Okay. And just quickly on the corporate side, they're buying back shares.
Yep. US $445 million worth in Q1. Part of a larger ongoing program, about $2.1 billion returned cumulatively so far, shows confidence and a focus on shareholder return.
And they put out an ESG report, too. Environmental, social governance.
Right, in April. Ticking those boxes, showing focus beyond just the financials. Important these days.
Okay, so if we were to quickly recap the key operational updates,
Yeah.
we've got mobile user growth holding up, even with that ad revenue question mark.
Right. Managed page becoming more important there.
Then there's the booming AI cloud growth and platform improvements.
Definitely the standout performer.
Apollo Go scaling rides, expanding globally, getting regulatory nods.
Great progress on that front.
And the constant drumbeat of AI model advancements, Ernie, paddle paddle.
Yeah, the tech keeps marching forward. Seems consistent across their strategic priorities.
Now every company faces challenges. What did Baidu flag as potential risks or, conversely, big opportunities?
Well, the opportunities are pretty clear, right? Continued high demand for AI cloud, global expansion for Apollo Go if they can pull it off.
Commercializing those fancy new Ernie models.
Exactly. Integrating AI deeper into the mobile apps, finding good strategic partners, pushing further into multimodal and reasoning AI. Lots of potential upside.
But the risks. Competition must be fierce.
Oh, absolutely. AI and cloud are hyper-competitive markets globally. That's a big one. Then there's the regulatory side for autonomous driving, always complex, especially cross-border.
And that declining online marketing revenue we talked about, that's
Yeah.
still a risk factor.
It is. Plus, all this AI development and running the infrastructure, it costs money. Managing those rising costs is another challenge they flagged.
So a landscape of significant opportunity, but also, some real hurdles to navigate.
That's the crux of it. Q1 looks promising, especially on the AI front, but they need to keep executing well to balance those opportunities and risks.
Okay, let's try and distill this down. What are the main takeaways from this Q1 deep dive?
I think number one has to be the strong overall performance, and specifically how much of that was powered by AI cloud's growth. It really feels like that AI-first strategy is not just talk anymore, it's delivering financially.
Yeah, that 42% jump is hard to ignore. And we also saw real tangible progress in the underlying AI tech Ernie 4.5 X1 and in applying it, like with Apollo Go's expansion and ride growth.
Definitely significant advancements there. And while the traditional ad business saw that dip, the mobile ecosystem itself, the user base, still looks healthy and growing.
Right. And financially, they seem pretty robust, able to fund these big bets and buy back shares.
True. But it's also crucial, as you said, to keep an eye on those areas they themselves are focused on, navigating the ad market shift, managing the costs of AI, and figuring out the long-term monetization for things like Apollo Go.
So wrapping up the positives. Strong Q1, AI, cloud shining, Apollo Go making strides. AI strategy seems to be paying off.
That sums it up pretty well. Early investments in AI are yielding results.
Okay, so here's a final thought for you, our listeners, to chew on. We see Baidu pushing hard on AI, expanding Apollo Go internationally quite early. What might these Q1 results tell us about the future shape of global tech competition? Is this a sign of how battles in AI, autonomous driving, and cloud might play out on a worldwide stage?
That's a great question to ponder. The dynamics are definitely shifting.
Indeed. Keep watching Baidu, keep watching the AI space. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Baidu's Q1 2025.